Joseph Allen here with Joseph Allen Music, and we're here today in how to install a Tonewood amp. I was homeschooled, bear with me. How to install a Tonewood amp, because I get a lot of questions from people how to put these on. So we're going to dive into that. And so if you want to know how to play more guitar, you go to my website, www.josephallenmusic.com, and you can learn some more great stuff like this. If you also want to grab my free guitar book up in the left-hand corner, you can do that as well. Let's dive into this video.
I'm not here to speak my mind. I am here to testify.
All right, so
I'm here to
if you get your Tonewood and you're like, that's great, what do I do? You'll notice there's a QR code right here. I want you to use your phone, grab this. If for some reason, like ours, this does not work, maybe because it's old and scratched up, I have no idea. You can go on, search online, and find just Guitar Tonewood Guide, and you can pop it up, download it. You're going to open it up, and you're going to want to scroll down to the part that basically tells you how to pick which style of body your guitar is. Now, there are various styles, there are various kinds, but with this one in particular, the way we can tell is we decided it was going to be more of a dreadnought style, and so you can get pretty close. And then once you pick that style, if you'll notice right here, there are measurements. We have inches and we have millimeters, so wherever you are in the world, that's what you're going to want to do. For us, it's a dreadnought, so we're going to want to make it 1.77 inches, if you'll notice, from the bottom of the guitar. That's where the Tonewood's going to sit up. That's the first step once we decide our measurements. Now, we've come in and we've measured. You can bring it in close right here for him. We've measured the guitar and got it pretty close with the tape measure, and we've gone the measurements we've been asked to do, and that's looking great. What I want to do at this point is make sure I find center. Now, naturally, the line on the guitar should be center, but it's wood, and I want to make sure the luthier or the manufacturer didn't make a mistake, even if it's off by even if it's off a couple millimeters. I just want to make sure and confirm, measure twice, cut once. And so if I look at this body right in here, I'm going to see it's 15 and basically, I could say, yeah, 16ths. It's going to be right there. So I'm going to find there and I'm going to go center. So if I do the 8 there, boom, that's going to be our center mark right there. Okay, and that just lets me know where it's center, and you can take a piece of tape and mark it. Fortunately, today, it's perfectly centered. I'm okay. I know it's there. If it's not, take a little piece of masking tape, or really, truthfully, painter's tape is better. You can use any tape you want, but it's going to leave a sticky residue, and you're going to have to get that off, and that's just annoying. So I don't have to stick it on here today, but you might. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to loosen your strings, because we're going to have to get our hand in here. And this is the part that's going to get interesting for the camera. Now notice, we have a bracket here. I am not wanting to remove these sticky things, and you'll find out in a second why. Because as soon as we pull them off, and as soon as we set it, this thing is so strong it does not come off. So we want to leave those open, and we want to leave those on. So we're just going to slide it in. And we're going to just drop it in here for a second. And I had Brock, my good friend here, ask me a really important question. And that was, I'm just loosening because my hand's not small enough to go in here. I had Brock ask me a really good question. Does the Tonewood mess up the sound of my guitar? I have not noticed any difference. When I was playing it back and forth, I felt like if it did something, I'm talking like 1/10%. And I truthfully feel that's just because my ear was telling me there should be something wrong with it. I just can't hear the difference. And my opinion is, it's so cool, you're not even going to care. I'm just being honest. Now we're going in. Okay, so once I have this bracket, we're going to want to take the Tonewood. Now, oh hey, they updated it. Nice font, Tonewood. All right. Now, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to slide it down that way. I know you're not going to see it in the camera. All I'm doing is adjusting it down. I'm going to slap this on, but I want to make sure it's an important fact here. You have some brackets right here on your guitar. If, for some reason, my Taylor 714, my bracket down lower, kind of got in the way, and I had to slightly adjust it, like you might have to go a little higher or a little lower based on your bracket, and that's totally okay. It's not going to mess with the sound. So if the bracket's in the way, just adjust to however close you can make it as possible. Now, that's in. I'm going to go right here. Okay. Now, notice I'm going to be adjusting this, but since I don't have the sticky things on, I can move this around all I want to. Now, if I had taken those sticky things off, guess what? How bad that was set? It's stuck there. I've got to order a new bracket for $30 because I didn't leave the sticky ends on. So, but it's there, and I did a horrible job, but that's okay because we didn't take the stickies off. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to kind of put my hand back here. I've got my finger on the tape, so I kind of know where it's supposed to sit, and I'm just going to adjust. And people ask me, am I going to break something? No, you're not going to break you're not going to break something. Luthiers put a whole lot more pressure on guitars when they're doing stuff than this. You're not going to have a problem. So I'm going to move that a little more down. Right there. Sorry that you're not seeing a whole lot, but it's kind of hard. I'm just working my way down till I line up with that tape. And you might want to put your Tonewood in place and then put your bracket right there. Because this magnet is so strong, it's going to follow that Tonewood and where it's sitting. Now, it looks like Brock's guitar does not have an issue with the bracket. In fact, it's dead center in the bracket. So, Brock, yours is better than my 714. So, who is this? Who made this?
Blue Ridge.
Blue Ridge. Blue Ridge, thank you for keeping it out of the way. Unlike my Taylor 714, which I love to death. That's my favorite guitar. I wish the bracket was just a little bit different on the bottom. That's probably why they came out with the V brackets later after I bought mine. All right. That looks... I'm going to take this off right now. And I'm going to take a peek and make sure it's sitting right where I want it. Okay, I want it to sit right there, so I'm going to take it just a little bit lower. And what's great, guys, is if you're having a little trouble seeing like I am, because I've encountered the pickup system with some wires at the bottom. You're not going to be able to see this on camera. Only I'm going to be able to get a look at it. Sorry, Brock. Only I'm going to be able to get a look at it, but I'm going to take a look at where the wires are sitting, and I'm just going to kind of go around them a little bit. So, get a good look where those wires are, and right there. Okay. People ask me, what about my electronics? Am I going to mess something up, snag them? Truthfully, guys, unless you just freaking manhandle a wire, you're not going to hurt it. It's built to quality. Now, I will say, if you come in here and you're just kind of, making your way through like I am, and you turn your guitar on later, and there's a problem, that's not anything you did. You just had a short in your wire. I'm trying to make sure I get around this Tonewood. There we go. Because I don't want the wires looped in my bracket at all. I want them around my bracket. Like I'm performing heart surgery over here. We're going to lose him. We're going to lose him. Stay with us. Stay with us. I'm sure that's how Brock feels right now when I've got my hand in his guitar. That's how I felt when my dad did. I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, you want to do it? I was like, no. And I do want to tell you guys, you want to go really slow because I want it to be right. Why? Because depending on where it sits affects the reverb and all the effects on your Tonewood. So if it's not right the first time, it's not going to be right for anything you're trying to do on it. So you want to take the time and make sure everything sits well in there. And do notice, I don't have a luthier's mount, y'all, but I've got it on cushions and blankets because I don't want it to get scratched. Y'all know me, I beat on my guitars because I'm a percussion guitarist, but not everybody does. So, especially when it's not mine. Now, if you take a look really right here, you'll see I'm flushed very well with that line. I'm happy with it as long as Brock is happy with it.
Yeah.
And Brock's giving me a thumbs up, okay? So we're going to adjust that a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some pieces of tape that Brock has manhandled. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark my Tonewood on the top and bottom. I've already got one on the bottom, but I'm going to put one on the top so that we're going to follow the next step, and I'll explain in just a second, so we don't get the calculation wrong. So I'm going to take, that's not straight. I'm tearing this like a homeschooler. All right. No respect. And then we're going to come in right here, and I'm just going to set that tape. Painter's tape, keep in mind. And when I take the bracket off, even though the Tonewood's gone, it's going to flush it up, and I know exactly where it needs to be when I take this bracket off. Because we got to take it out and take the stickers off. So I'm going back in, performing heart surgery. I'm going to pop the Tonewood off, which is going to produce a super easy way to get this out. And I'm sorry guys, because sometimes the camera's hard to watch with me going in there, but there's just really no other way for you guys to see what's going on. Okay, what I'm going to do is, and I'm going to turn the camera off because I'm going to get Brock to help me out with this next step. I'd really recommend getting a buddy. My dad helped me, and just having 2 extra pair of hands helps. And what we're going to do, and I want to explain this before we turn it off, I'm going to set the Tonewood and line it up. Remember, having measured both sides, our tape's lined up, top and bottom, we're going to set it. The Tonewood, and we're going to hold it. I'm going to have someone apply pressure right here. I'm going to take these stickies off, and I'm going to insert it. I want to keep it as far up from this Tonewood as I can, the bracket, because this magnet is so strong, y'all. I'm not lying. I used to wear very big, I'm a Texan, obviously, by my draw. I used to wear very big belt buckles until one day this sucker, when I wasn't wearing my Tonewood, gave me a sucker punch in the gut and nearly took the breath out of me during a gig because it hit so hard with my belt buckle. I want to keep it as high up, and I'm going to show the motion on top of the guitar. I'm going to keep it as high up as I can, and I'm going to go, and I got to have a tight grip on it, really tight, and I'm going to let it go down, and I'm going to kind of aim it. It's going to want to pull hard. And as I'm putting it in, I'm aiming it, I'm going to line it up with this Tonewood, and you'll be able to feel it when you're letting it kind of fall. You can get in close right here. There you go. That's what I'm telling you. It's hard. Because basically that's what it's going to do. When I line it up right, it's going to drop. And it's going to say, because it grabbed both of those magnets. And you're going to feel it. When one pulls, it's going to want to go. The fourth one's going to want to go. And those are going to want to go. And it's going to drop in. Because you don't want to have 2 or 3 out of the 4. But you're going to feel that tension. And it's just going to go right there. So I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to make my way as high as I can. And we're going to go right there, and the Tonewood's going to do the work for me. So get an extra buddy to make sure it's right. When this Tonewood gets set, and I've lined it up where I want on my lines, what I'm going to do is why I use painter's tape. If you're working with 2 people, you can get an extra hand on this. If you don't work with another person, what this is going to do, you're going to line it up dead center, and then I'm going to stick this on, and it's going to keep it in place. Unless you do that. Patching. And I'm going to come out and do the same thing on the bottom, because I get it. Not everybody has an extra hand there. If you do, like me today, you're blessed. If you don't, you're still okay. So, good job to Tonewood for making up a way you can get this right. Now, I'm just making sure my measurements are good. I'll line that up the way I think it should go. You good with that?
I think so.
Okay, I'm happy with it. I just want to make sure you are, because it's your guitar, it's not mine. All right, and I am going to shut it off because I want Brock I want his hand here so I can he can hold the body and I can keep my hand really high as I go down so it won't lock down. So go ahead and shut that off. All right, so I'm just wanting to kind of apply a little pressure. I missed all my wires and stuff like that. Everything's great. Guitar came out of the surgery really well. I feel really proud about it. I think there are a few things we could do better, but I think that everything is going to turn out really smooth and nice. I'm just applying a little pressure to make sure the stuff has time to kind of bond to the wood. I know with some people, depending on how much dirt you got in there, maybe after time, or maybe the first time it should be fine, but I'm saying like after time, if it doesn't stick as well, you can buy another one of these things. No, you don't have to buy a whole nother Tonewood amp to get this. You can get the bracket for $30. So if you want it on various guitars, you just have to buy the bracket for $30 or replace these. I know my suction cups on the Tonewood itself, if you should come in here and show them, Brock, close on the camera, you'll see the microscopic suction cups and magnetics right here. Right there, you'll see a line. Sometimes those over time won't be as sticky, and you can get those strips. They're like $10 or so, give or take, and you can order those. And that's just natural, and that's normal. Mine's like 4, 5 years old, and it's time to replace them, but it's easy. You can stick new ones on. Okay. I think I like what I'm seeing. So we're going to take the tape off, and we're going to see what this thing does. If you mess up the first time with the sticky parts, the tape, whatever you want to call it, on the inside of the bracket, they do give you an extra 1 retry in your package in case you make a mistake, because, hey, let's be honest, mistakes happen. So I'm going to take this off because it doesn't leave residue. And, oh yeah, that's nice. And we're going to see how this held up. Because if you were using other tape than painter's tape, there'd be a lot of glue on there. Now, I'm going to remove this because I want to remove this. And I'll be honest with you, you want to be careful because this thing can jump. So it does take a little tweaking, guys, to get used to setting it. I've kind of got mine down to a science because it's my guitar, but this one you kind of have to learn. So I like to set the top magnet up and work my way down. And then when it grabs, you'll feel it, it'll pull, and then the bottoms will just lock right in place. And then it's stuck. So, and you aren't going to get that off unless you really hit it pretty hard or pull. Now, there is one more thing. Then, obviously, we want to tune the guitar. Now, you might be thinking like Brock, I've got to play for worship tomorrow, and my guitar is not going to stay in tune for this. I wanted it today for tomorrow because I had to have something now. And you might need something in 10 minutes. I don't know. Well, that is awesome because you can watch another video that I'll put in the description below or in the comments below that will teach you how to keep your guitar in tune without ever playing it. I'm not going to show it in this. I hope you guys enjoy this and you like this video, and share it, and be in mind as well that your Tonewood is not just a drop-on and you're ready to play. You need to mix it. You need to tweak it the way you like it. I even recommend having a live setting and having a acoustic setting. Being plugged into a sound system is just different. So with that in mind, have fun, guys, and we'll see you next time.